Hello, everyone. Buenos dias, and thank you so much for taking part in this auspicious meeting. My name is Chantal Elkin. I work at the World Wildlife Fund, WWF. You may know us from our panda logo. We are an environmental organization that works in over 100 countries. And I lead a program that supports partnerships, bringing together our offices around the world with religious and spiritual organizations and communities. And in these regions, as in Misiones, religion is such an important part of life. And as such, it really impacts how people treat and relate to nature. We find, however, that there's so much in common between the environmental and the faith worlds in terms of our aspirations to restore balance to our natural world, to ensure that communities, people are healthy and resilient. We are grateful to Hora de Obrar for reaching out to all of you and inviting you to come together today to share your perspectives from your own unique spiritual and cultural tradition about the connection of your teachings with nature and land restoration. And I'm so sorry that I couldn't fly from England to be with you there today, but I really look forward to hearing all about it. I really want you to know that the meeting today is part of a global movement to restore billions of hectares of land to balance by 2030, and to practice land management in ways that are sustainable and that support super healthy soils and ecosystems. Governments, civil society, NGOs, civil society organizations, local communities are all part of this global movement, recognizing that healthy land supports healthy communities. And around the world, very revered religious leaders, as you know, Pope Francis and now Pope Leo. There are indigenous traditional leaders in Africa, Muslim clerics in Indonesia, Buddhist lamas in the Himalayas, Hindu leaders in India, all calling on their communities to take action to protect and restore nature. And as a result, we have seen a huge explosion in environmental initiatives in the faith world. Recognizing that faiths give such an important contribution on a wide range of projects, WWF has been collaborating with faith partners. Some of these include protecting forests. Some of these include protecting endangered wildlife like tigers and other critical species. But what we're here to discuss today specifically is another major priority for the global community, which is the sustainable management and restoration of land. Let me tell you about some of the ways, though, that faiths are taking action across the world. According to our calculations, religious organizations and communities are planting hundreds of millions of trees. They are practicing faith-based agriculture systems like the Christian approach of farming God's way, which restores the soil and supports wildlife while increasing agricultural yields. We see faith leaders mobilizing their vast communities around environmental care. We see faith communities restoring critical habitats for endangered species. And people of so many different faith communities and traditions are coming together to support one another and increase collective impact. I'll give you one example of one of our great projects in the African country of Tanzania. There we support a network of 15 Christian and Muslim organizations to come together to discuss and act on restoration. In this network, the different faiths share their teachings, their perspectives on what nature and restoration mean in their spiritual tradition. They share their experience in restoration practices, what's worked, what hasn't worked. We hold joint trainings on high quality restoration methods like tree planting, sustainable agriculture. And together, these 15 multi-faith organizations have placed almost 400 hectares of land under restoration so far in 1 year, and they have pledged to restore 4,000 hectares of their land through these practices. And it's estimated that through faith channels, we could reach 1.5 million more people with environmental messaging in the wider landscape. So the power of faith is really immense, and perhaps today you will discuss forming such a network in the Atlantic forest. What I have personally found so incredible about working with faith partners is the desire of faith actors to put their spiritual and ethical values into action. I have been so inspired by the positive energy and the uplifting messages and stories that faiths have brought into restoration. So much more interesting than the scientific charts and figures and data that we often use in scientific conservation. But since WWF is a science-based organization, now I would like to just give you a bit of practical information on some of the technical resources and support that we can give you. We have, first and foremost, a website called the Faith and Nature Hub. And I am going to try to share my screen to see if I can give you a little tour. So I do hope that you could all see that. Now, you can search the Faith and Nature Hub by faith. So you could go to the Christian page and get an overview of how Christianity and the different traditions are working with environmental issues, what the beliefs and values of that tradition, how they speak to care for nature. And then lower down, you can see how they're taking action to restore and protect habitat, species, and other issues in the environmental world. But I want to draw your attention to also searching by conservation theme, and specifically under habitat, faith, and restoration. So on this page, you'll find a lot of resources to help you, a good overview of what restoration means, that we are in a UN decade on restoration with certain global goals. But there are articles and resources that can help you as well. This is the one I really want to draw your attention to. It's a guide that we produced on faith-based tree growing, which is now in 6 languages and will soon be up, I'm happy to say, in Spanish. We will just end this video of mine, my introduction, with this tree growing video, which introduces the guide. But before I let you go, I would also like to let you know that we are working on an online course on faith and restoration that will soon be freely available to everybody. So please keep checking this website for updates on more and more information and resources. And now I would just like to express my extreme gratitude to all of you for taking the time out of your busy lives to spend together, to share your experiences and perspectives, discuss what works, what isn't working in your context, express your hopes and your visions for how your communities and land can thrive through collaborative action. May you all be blessed in this meeting, and may it plant a seed that flourishes over time into a beautiful garden of trust, inspiration, mutual support, and collaboration for the good of the planet and the good of all people. So I leave you now with a short introductory video of our Faith Tree Growing Guide. I wish you the best, and I thank Hora de Obrar once again for your incredible leadership in Misiones. Thank you to all.
Tree Growing for Conservation and Ecosystem Restoration, a guide for faith-based actors.
Inspired by their deepest beliefs and values, religious and spiritual communities all over the world are taking action to help heal our planet. This includes the planting and growing of millions of trees by faith groups every year. For many communities of faith, forests are considered sacred areas, but also critical for social and economic well-being.
Faith tree growing efforts can also do a lot to protect wildlife and restore nature. WWF, Trillion Trees and United Nations Environment Program's Faith for Earth Coalition have come together to produce an easy-to-follow guide to help your community develop and implement your tree growing initiatives, providing you with easy step-by-step guidance, checklists, and links for all your tree growing needs.
Step 1. Agree the purpose of your tree growing. In this first step, you and your team or community will come together to agree on what your long-term vision will be for your tree growing efforts. People may plant and grow trees for a variety of spiritual, economic, and environmental reasons, and multiple benefits can be achieved at the same time. Your purpose could be to create a sacred grove for spiritual reflection, for communing with nature and connecting with each other. Or it could be to restore native tree species, to support wildlife, or to provide shade for crops.
Agreeing to a shared vision for your tree growing initiative will create a clear purpose and sense of ownership for everyone involved. Step 2. Building your tree growing partnership. Start with a core team of people committed to delivering a shared vision. Remembering that collaboration is key, so make sure to check in regularly with those closest to the project to stay on track.
What is exciting about projects like this is that they are a great opportunity to foster conversations and connections between interfaith and intergenerational groups, and to speak with local experts and traditional knowledge holders. Step 3. Developing your tree growing plan. Before you dig into planting, it's important to prepare a detailed tree growing plan first. Start with your core team and together draft a restoration plan to help you decide who is doing what, and to outline the schedule and any resources you might need. This also includes the management and aftercare needed once trees are planted to ensure that trees survive and thrive. Seek feedback from local experts and traditional knowledge holders about tree species and methods they think are best for the environment you are working in.
It is important to select the right tree species to meet the vision and purpose of your tree growing plan, avoid harm to the local environment, deliver sustainable multiple benefits, be robust and durable. Step 4. Implementing your tree growing plan.
Now it's time to put your planning into action. Try to vary the sources of support for your initiative. Think about asking your broader spiritual community for help and resources, or going to local schools or youth groups, or even local businesses and government leaders. You might be surprised how many people really want to get involved.
And don't forget to check in regularly with your core team for their feedback to make sure everyone is aware and happy with how the project is progressing and adapt if necessary.
Step 5. Stewardship of your trees as they grow. Planting new trees or protecting areas so that they can regrow is just the start. Continuing to care for them as they grow and develop is an important part of making sure they survive and thrive. Pay attention to what the growth looks like before your team starts working, what it looks like after you've planted, and how it starts to change over time.
Keep an eye on things like planting dates, the health of the trees, and what's happening in and around your project. This shared knowledge can help your faith community become more connected to each other and the natural world around them. Step 6. Sharing knowledge and connecting to the global movement.
Congratulations! You've made it to the final step of the process. Now it's time to share what you and your community have learned through this journey to inspire and help others. Look for ways to share experiences inside and outside of your community. Encourage your team to talk to other groups about their experiences, and even invite others to start tree growing projects of their own.
There are many online platforms where you can share your inspiring stories with the world and join Generation Restoration. By growing even just one tree, you will be rooting yourself to a global movement aimed at restoring nature for us all. Forests across the world need the action of faith-based communities more than ever.
Your faith-led tree-growing partnership has the power to transform your local lands and ecosystems for the good of the people, nature, and the climate, and can have an enormous multiplying effect.
To download the full comprehensive tree growing guide, including many helpful resources and links, head to www.faithnaturehub.org/faith-ecosystem-restoration.